So I'd been a recruit for 2 years now, working every day, and I'm waiting for that call. And then all of a sudden on Halloween, I get a call from my capo regime, wear a suit, be downtown on Carroll Street at 4 o'clock. And I just had this feeling that Halloween was gonna be my night. Hello everybody, it is Friday, October 30th, and welcome to another Sit Down with Michael Franzese. Hope everybody is doing well. And tomorrow is the end of the month, October 31st, big day here in California and all over the country. It is Halloween night, and I'm sure many of you are gonna be out trick-or-treating, enjoying all the Halloween festivities. I know it's a big deal in my house. For some reason, my family loves to dress up and loves to get into all the Halloween fun, but it is a very special night for me because 45 years ago, tomorrow, was the night that I took an oath and became a sworn made member of the Colombo family. And, people, I remember that day vividly. It was a life-changing experience for me. And I'm going to take you through it so that you understand the meaning of that. And I will tell you this, I don't consider myself a member of that life anymore, but when you come into the life, you don't sign a contract. There's no retirement age that you can't just say, hey, I'm done. What I know about that life is in my heart, my mind, not easily forgotten. And you know what they say? They say if you leave that life, you either leave in a coffin or you join the government and enter a witness protection program. And obviously I've done neither throughout these years. So a very special day for me because, again, life-changing experience. And I want to take you back to the events of that day. Now, here it is. I'm a recruit for 2 years. Most every day for that 2 years, I had to dress up, go down to Carroll Street where the Colombo family headquarters were. My capo regime at that time was a fellow by the name of Andrew Russo. I loved Andrew, good guy. My boss at that time, even though Persico was the boss, he was in prison, and the acting boss was Tom DeBella. Jerry Lang was our underboss at that time. So that was kind of the hierarchy in that life at that time. And every day, Andrew would tell me, you got to meet me down at Carroll Street almost every day, dress up, put a suit on, and whatever I had to do when I was with him, I had to do. For the next year and a half, I was a recruit in kind of like a pledge period, I guess you can call it, where I had to do anything and everything I was told to do to prove myself worthy to become a made man. And that could have been something very menial, and it could have been something very serious.
Honestly, it was a piece of cake. After he fell, it was easy.
And some guys were starting to get made now, early 75, and I'm just waiting for my turn. And like I said, you got to prove yourself worthy. I believe I did that. And your day comes up, but you don't know when. It's a security measure. They don't tell you it's coming out, tomorrow, the next day. They don't prepare you in any which way. Halloween day, I get a call from Andrew, meet me downtown. It was early, probably about 5 o'clock. He said, wear a suit. There was nothing really abnormal about that. That was a normal thing he said to me. But like I said, guys were starting to get made, and I'm saying, hey, hopefully one of these days is going to be my call. That particular night, I met Andrew at the social club on Carroll Street. We were sitting around. We went out to eat a little bit, and nothing special. And at one point in time, I said, Andrew, you need me anymore? Could I go home? He says, no, you don't go home tonight. I said, okay. And then I started to realize this was my night. And people, honestly, it was exhilarating. I was getting kind of excited. Remember, I had a very idealistic view of that life at that point in time. You know, my dad, very important figure of that life. He was the underboss at one time. I actually got into the life. Why? Because my father said, if you're going to be on the street and help me get out of this 50-year prison sentence, prove that I wasn't framed, then I want you to do it the right way. And in his mind, the right way was to become a member of his life. That's why he proposed me. And I want to make it clear, prior to that, I never aspired to be a member of that life. It wasn't something that I wanted to be. I was going to be a doctor. I was a pre-med student. I was an athlete in school. So this is not something I aspired to be until the Italian-American Civil Rights League came around and Joe Colombo kind of took me under his wing, started to meet a lot of my dad's friends. You know, this was in my early 20s. I was 20, 21 when all of this happened, still a student in college. But, you know, the influence really started to come over me. And then obviously to help my dad, if he felt this was the best way to do it, I was ready. So I guess in my heart, I was kind of a street guy to begin with in that sense. So now I'm getting the feeling, okay, this could be my day. Well, we're hanging around. Then it was about, I would say, 11 o'clock at night. Andrew said, let's go. We get in a car, and I drive him to Anthony Colombo had a catering hall. I think it was called the Eldoro, and it was in Brooklyn. We drive to that catering hall. I kind of had a feeling, this is it. And we get there, and there's about 5 other guys that were also recruits at that time. I knew each one of them, and we realized this was going to be our night. And so, again, that feeling of exhilaration kind of came over me, that special feeling that I got, you know, that I said, hey, this is it for me, something important in my life, life-changing experience. And we were kind of waiting outside in a room, and then we got called into the room one by one. The underboss, the consigliere, to his left and right. All the cop regimes were alongside of them. We had about 15 in our family at that point. And I walked down the aisle. I stood in front of the boss, held out my hand. He took a knife right here, cut my finger, just light cut, squeezed it. Some blood fell on the floor. He also pricked my finger with a pin just to make sure that, you know, it was going to bleed the right way. So I kind of got 2 little, you know, marks at that time. And then he took a saint. He told me to cup my hands, took a saint. It was a Catholic altar card, put it in my hands, and Andrew lit it aflame. It didn't hurt, it burned quickly, it was merely symbolic. And he looked at me and he said, tonight, Michael Franzese, you are born again into a new life, into La Cosa Nostra. Violate what you know about this life, betray your brothers, and you will die and burn in hell like this saint is burning in your hands. He said, do you accept? And I said, yes, I do. And that's it. That's the oath. It's not a long, drawn-out affair. It's pretty simple, very serious, a very imposing night. There was a dimly lit room. They really wanted you to understand the seriousness of what you were getting involved in. And that was it. That was my turn. I was excused at that point, and I went into another room in the catering hall until the other 5 guys or 4 guys, whatever was left, went in and took their oath. And when we were done, we went into another section of the catering hall, and there was a banquet let out for us, right? That's what all Italians do. No matter what the occasion is, we go in and eat. And so we're sitting down, you know, the 6 new made guys, all of the caporegimes, our underboss, Tom DeBella, the boss, Andrew Russo, and we just start to chatter and talk, and everybody's feeling real good. And I'll never forget, the boss looked at us, and he said, you know, let me give you some of the rules here. He said, any act of violence, any murder, I'm going to be straight out. He says, you don't get involved in anything unless it's approved by me. He told us how do we report again to our capo regimes. He said, we were new men now. Nobody can ever touch another made guy. He went through the whole thing. And he said, listen, you know, I'll never forget what happened. A little guy by the name of Joe Vitaco, who was very close to my dad, and asked for permission. He was a soldier, but he asked for permission to be in that ceremony. Normally, it's only the capo regimes, the captains that are allowed, but he asked for special permission because he knew me since I was a kid. And it was real special to him that I was becoming a made guy. So he walks in the room with a bag of money, well, an empty bag, and he says, hey, boss, should I give all these new guys their bag of money now? And the irony in that is that people think that once you become a member of that life, that they start throwing money at you, that all of a sudden you become wealthy. Not true. It's just the opposite. Okay, in that life, you got to be paying up all the time. You can use that life as an advantage to you if you know how, in order to make your way, maybe make, some more money. If you know how to use that life, like I believe I did, to benefit you in business, it can go a long way. But not everybody had that expertise, that talent, that whatever you want to call it. And everybody started laughing. And the boss looked at us and he said, "Don't expect this life to make money for you. You got an advantage here. Go out and use it. If you can't use it, that's tough luck. That's on you. We're not throwing money on you." Made it very clear, and I got the message that night. When I got into the life, I had only two things on my mind. Number one was to get Dad out of prison, and number two was to make money. In La Cosa Nostra, money was power. And to spring my father, I would need plenty of both because the feds hated him. And the guys in power on the street, they weren't crying over his 50-year sentence because they feared him. The reality of the mob life is that at times it is very violent. If you're part of that life and you die of old age, trust me, you really accomplished something.
An FBI undercover investigation found that Michael Franzese was a tough, violent mafia boss, implicated in mafia murders going back to the 1970s.
My dad told me in that life you make money, it translates to power. The more power you got, the more effective you can be. And it was really, if I didn't get my dad out of prison, it felt like, he would die in there. He got a 50-year sentence, went in when he was 50 years old. You know the story. He got out when he was 100. He died at 103, but he spent 40 years in prison because we could never get the conviction overturned. But it was very special for me that night, and I was very invigorated. And guys, I want to make it clear, because there's a lot of stuff being said online about different things and different people. I want to make it clear. I was never a stick-up guy. Nobody ever told me, "Michael, you're going to go out and do stick-ups." The boss doesn't tell you that. He doesn't order you to do a burglary. He doesn't order you to do a house invasion, a home invasion. He doesn't order you to stick up people. When you're given an order, okay, to take care of certain other business in that life, and I think you know what I mean, you got to do it. That's it. No questions asked, you do it. The boss gives you an order, and everybody gets that order. So I think you understand what I mean. But that stuff wasn't for me. I was a business guy. I knew how to earn. I knew how to use that life to benefit me in business. And as a result, I rose in the ranks. I was my father's acting captain. Later on, I became a capo regime. I was appointed that position because I was doing well for the family. That was the bottom line. There was some other reasons, but because I was doing well for the family. But not everybody goes out and sticks up people. I never have an interest in doing that. I didn't have my crew doing that kind of stuff. We were a little different. I was in the gas business. I gave everybody a gas station. Yes, I was Shylock money, but I was more into legitimate business. And I'll be honest with you, some people are going to get offended, but this is the truth. I always had, high marks. Yeah, if I wanted to take down a bank, I knew how to do it. If I wanted to take down an insurance company, I knew how to do it. Federal government, they were my enemies. As far as I was concerned, I knew what to do. Those were my targets. I wasn't a guy that was sticking up people on the street. I didn't shake down store owners and stuff like that. That wasn't my thing. A lot of guys were doing that, wasn't my thing, and I was never told or ordered to do something like that. No made guy is given an order to go and stick up people. Now, if he has a crew that's doing that and they answer to him and he wants to participate, that's up to him. If that's his thing, that's his thing. And certainly there were guys doing that. But like I said, the orders don't come from the top. Hey, you got to go stick up this guy. If you're told, hey, you got to go take care of some business, this guy is not doing the right thing, how you handle it is up to you. I think you understand that. But, life-changing experience for me 45 years ago, Halloween night. And, I got to answer this question right now because it just popped into my head and I think it's appropriate. I put it out there a while ago that some people had tried to get Sammy Gravano, Sammy the Bull, and me together to do an interview. I can tell you this. Yes, Sammy was the real deal. He was the underboss. He was a real guy in every way, in every shape and sense of the word. No doubt about it. He was a little bit different than me in some aspects, but the same in some aspects because Sammy had a head for business also. He might have done a little bit more on the street than I did for whatever reason. That's his thing. But they're trying to get us together. It's not that easy. It's complicated. But, you know, let's see what happens in the future. You know, we're discussing it at this point in time. But we'll see what happens. I'm not going to say anything more than that. So that's it for tonight. Listen, I want you to all go out there and be safe on Halloween. I know there's a lot of restrictions. You may not be able to take the kids out trick-or-treat, and I have a couple of grandchildren. We're going to play it a little bit safe because we have to. Those are the restrictions, whether I agree with it or not. But we're going to have some fun here in our household. So have a safe and happy and healthy Halloween. You understand what it means for me, and I know for you it's a good time. So that's it. I want to thank you. Hey, the Darryl Strawberry interview was great. A lot of people gave a lot of great comments. We appreciate that. We got a lot more coming up. Subscribe. A lot of good things are going to be happening in the future. Okay, a lot of content coming on this site, so keep up the good work. Be safe. Be healthy. God bless. See you next time.